how significant really are the new sanctions proposed by the US in the context of the ongoing war in Ukraine?
Thank you for the question. Much, of course, will depend on whether Donald Trump ultimately signs them into law. But assuming that they proceed as expected, they can put significant amount of pressure further straining Russian economy. Among entities that is expected to be sanctioned is Gazprom, Russia's gas giant that is part of the cartel, along with its Qatari and Iranian counterpart. Sanctioning Gazprom will put a significant strain not only on Russia independently, but on its economic collaboration with its counterparts. Other economic and energy infrastructure is going to be particularly significant because it's also sanctioning. It would also sanction secondary. It would place secondary sanctions, including on foreign intermediaries, ranging from India to Turkey to China, making it much more difficult for those countries and entities in those countries to facilitate Russia's economy. Of course, it is not expected that this economic strain would necessarily force Russia into territorial concessions, but it would make it much more difficult to continue fueling the conflict and sustaining basic economy. Internally, Russia's economy is already under pressure, even though in response to the war, it has turned towards so-called fortress or siege economy, which is focused on war production. In 2025, we are seeing a downward turn, even under those circumstances that are generally beneficial for economies in wartime. Additional sanctions would make it difficult for Russia to import components it needs for making weapons and put it in a weaker position vis-a-vis Ukraine. As it is, Russia is losing a significant amount of equipment, and much of its military activities focused on bombarding Ukrainian civilian structures and cities rather than on the combat in the field. And we have seen that in the past year and a half, Russia has not been able to make any significant advances.